Hey, good morning, everybody. We are live with some Torah, and we are learning Lalisama Avimori Moshe ben Chaim. We are learning for a refuah shlema for those who need healing, including Harriet Bat Lillian, David ben Sophia, Lynn Bas Basilea, Maya Bat Sarah, Sarah Bas Betty, Neftal Hirsch ben Rachel, Yosef ben Leah, Amiram ben Shoshana, Yisrael ben Yocheved, and if anybody else needs a refuah shlema, Karen Chanel bat Golda Rachel, please send them our way. Clarice bat Etta, and Mechoel ben Sarah. Lots of people need a refuah shlema. Don't hesitate to send us the names, and we'll try to include them whenever possible. I have a Leah bat Freda here as well, and Azrael Moshe ben Sarah, Bracha bat Sheva, Bracha bas Chaya bas Sarah. Okay. Emmanuel ben Juliet, Chava bas Dina, should all have a refuah shlema. We are in the beginning of Siman 32. Chapter 32 is about protecting our health. I note that it's a big concept, and people write books about this, but we're going to go through some concepts that the Shulchan Aruch presents. Let's call them natural methods that he recommends, that are from Chazal. We are on number 3, and remember, the first one had to do with presenting this idea that what we eat is critical to our health, and we need good health so that we can learn Torah, do mitzvahs. Most importantly, so that we can serve God in our own way in everything that we do in the world. And if a person, God forbid, is sick or not well, whether it's any kind of unwellness, it's going to impact their abilities and what they do in the world. So we have to not just daven that we should be well, but also do things to ensure that we are healthy and well. So now we're on 3. Ha'ikul hatofu, the digestive process, which is best. Ima ma'achaleni narav. If you don't eat, if you have you're not have a huge meal. V'sheyeh kal lisakel, and it's more easily digested, right? If you have smaller portions, it's going to be easier to eat, easier to digest. Because if you eat too much, then you're gonna fill up your stomach as kasheikol, and it's going to make your digestion more difficult, right? He says, so he says that when the stomach, when you just overeat, the stomach can't do its proper function. Now, I don't know on a physiologically if that's true, but certainly overeating is unhealthy. And it says you're not going to digest it well. And he gives an example, like if you have a fire and you just load it with tons of wood, you're going to end up putting out the fire. It's not going to burn well. So too, if you overeat, you're going to impact negatively your digestion. A person who wants to maintain their health, a person should be cautious, should have moderate portions, should eat in moderation, according to one's metabolism. Right? They shouldn't eat too little, they shouldn't eat too much, they should endeavor to eat just enough. Right, and again, that so many illnesses come because they're eating harmful foods. Or they're overeating. Echila gasa is considered like excessive amounts, which we're warned about lots of times. Even good food, right? Even if you're eating good stuff, but you're eating so much, that's also not helpful, right? You have to ensure that even a person who's eating good food and healthy food still, right? Even you can be too much of a good thing. And just as an aside regarding what modern health guidelines might say regarding this overeating, right, is that it leads to all kinds of issues, especially if you're overeating things which are not good for you. Even Shlomo Melech said, King Solomon said in Proverbs, Shomer piv v'leshoinei shomer mitzarsei nafshoy. A person who guards their mouth and their tongue guards his soul from troubles. What does this mean? One who guards his mouth and his tongue guards his soul from troubles. We'll say it again. One who guards his mouth and his tongue, and normally we think about that in like Lashon Hara terms, like what you're saying, guards his soul from troubles. So he has an interesting explanation of this. He says, Kaleimar, person who guards their mouth from eating something which is harmful to them, or from overeating, right? Eating more than they needed. And they guard his tongue. So now he's saying, right, speaking only which is necessary. It protects their soul. Why? Because this ensures their survival. We know that our speech and our eating and all these things are connected to our soul, and we wouldn't want negative impact. And he says, a wise man once stated, one who eats a small amount of harmful food doesn't cause as much damage as one who eats too much healthy food. Again, overeating is not healthy. So even if you're eating good stuff, and of course, some foods don't agree with some people and so forth. Okay, you get what I mean. Number 4, different people have different needs. And he connects this primarily with age. Today, we might associate it with all kinds of other things, as not just age. But we do know that certainly as children need different kind of dietary intake, right? Babies, toddlers, children, than adults. Adam b'noirav, a person in their youth, they have a strong digestive system. So it says they need food all the time, right? Especially if you ever had a teenager, if you ever were a teenager. Yoiser min ha'ish asher hu be'emsa yom, right? A middle-aged person doesn't eat food as much as regularly. V'azaken, or an elder person, a person who's older, whose strength is waning, so they want to give him light food, more easily digested. Uma'at kamois be'arba be'ikov, small quantities but high in quality, i.e., nutritional value. Right. So as a person goes through different parts of their life, their food needs will differ in regard to quantity, and probably consistent with what we might say today. In the summer, warm seasons. Number 5, so he wants to alert us that we should adjust our diet according to the season, and here's his advice: the digestive organs he says in the summer, digestion is not as easy because of so much heat. So he says that the amount that a person eats in the warm months should be less than eat in the cold season. They should endeavor to eat smaller portions in the summer because it's harder to digest. The shiur chachma refuah, he says, in the opinion of doctors, lechol b'maisachama rak shnei shlishi. In the summer, a person should eat 2/3 of what they eat in the summer. Mimashu oichel b'maisa gashamim, what they eat in the winter. Let's leave it at that. Number 6, klal gadol b'darchei refuah. There's a fundamental principle in the field of medicine. Shekoidim hachila yiga ba'alicha o ba'avoda. Right? He says that a person, before they eat, should exercise through walking. This is taken from the Gemara. And there are other reasons for exercise. Rashi explains that walking stimulates the digestion and allows one to pass food more easily, use the bathroom more easily, and also that then they won't have to interrupt their meal to use the facilities. Because remember, back then it was much more complicated to use the restroom than it is today. So he likes the idea of some kind of physical labor or exercise, ad shis chamem gufo, he says, and to raise the heat, the temperature of your body. And then they eat. Shamor, so it says in the Torah, by the sweat of your brow you shall eat bread. And Nemar, as it says in Mishlei, in Proverbs, you shouldn't eat the bread of laziness. So i.e., a person should do some kind of activity before they eat. Should loosen your belt before you eat to make room for the food. V'simancha, there's a mnemonic device here. Vekra pas lechem, I will fetch morsels of bread. This is in Breishis. Ekecha, Reishis tevis le mafrei. The word ekecha, which is from this line in Breishis, is a reverse acronym for Heter Chagura Kodem Achila. Loosen your belt before you're eating. Why you need the pasuk to remind you to do this, I'm not sure. Pas lechem reshetevis. Also, the words pas lechem are an acronym for pen tavoli de choli mayin, lest you be afflicted with some kind of gastrointestinal distress. So they use letters from these to make an acronym to remind you to loosen your belt and as a way of ensuring better digestion. Certainly feels better. Ubashas achila yeshu b'choma, when eating, should remain seated in your place. O meisev al smolo, or you could lean to your left side. V'achar achila, and after you eat, lo yisnena harbe, you shouldn't be very active. Ki al yedei zeh yered machal min atzma. And he's worried that if you run around right after you eat, it's the food's gonna get jostled from your stomach. Terem shitacha, before it's probably dead. Yidik loy will cause them harm. Eila yelech mat enuach, rather should take a little walk and rest after you have a meal. V'loy yitayel, but you shouldn't go for a long walk. V'loy gadatz asmal acher achile, you shouldn't exert yourself heavily after a meal. V'loy yishan achar achila ad shtei shais, you shouldn't go to sleep. Shouldn't sleep right away after a meal. Should wait 2 hours until you had your meal. Shelo yale ashnim, so that the digestion shouldn't harm you. V'chein amerchat, also regarding the bathhouse. V'hakaza, they used to let blood, right? V'hamizgal, or intimate relations with their spouse. Shouldn't happen right after you have a meal. It's considered by him to be not a healthy thing. Person should avoid those things. So whether or not in today's medicine the doctors would agree with these particular points of advice regarding what you do before and after a meal. I can't speak to that, but clearly they're going to say something, and we should listen to the advice of those who are experts in the field, so that when we eat, we do it in the right way, so that we can get all the benefit of the food and none of the detriment to our health. I wish everybody an awesome day, and we'll see